So I am a freelance project manager currently, and I've worked for various organisations sending young people on projects abroad, voluntary projects mostly, as well as receiving volunteers on projects in the UK. We've sent people all over the world and received people from all over the world doing lots of different jobs in different countries. Yeah, most of the projects are in Europe, but there is opportunity to send people to other places as well. So we've sent people to South America and to Asia and to Africa and essentially everywhere in the world. So the best thing about it really is to experience different countries from the point of view of people that live and work there, rather than just going there as a tourist. So to see what it's like for the people who work in a school rather than the people who work in a hotel, or the people who work in a building site rather than the people who work in a restaurant. So it's not the sort of thing that you would normally see as a tourist, and it's a really good way of getting under the skin of a country by getting to know the normal people, for want of a better word, to live and work and exist there in a completely different culture from your own. So there's one of the standout projects that we've organised and coordinated would be a school for deaf children in the Gujarat in India, and we sent volunteers out to work there in the school, and it was such a wonderful, inclusive experience. Even people who had, British people that we sent over there who had experience working with deaf people and deaf children before, found it such a cultural shock in good ways as well as bad ways. Like, of course, British Sign Language, for example, isn't an international language, and so the children would sign differently, but because they would only sign with one hand, for example, and they would touch in their faces. But culturally, it was such a different experience for them to do, having done that job in the UK, to do that job in a completely different environment, and that's probably the project that has the most stories attached to it. Intercultural learning is such an important aspect of life currently. Like, we live in a massively globalized world, and business more and more takes the sort of skills that you can get from international experiences as essential for employees. You ask a business the sort of things that they are looking for in an employee, it's always the things that are the sort of things that you can get from doing an international experience, like using your initiative, understanding people culturally, different communication methods, and those aren't naturally the sort of things that you can learn from, or that you can prove from having learned them in formal education. When you do experiential learning in a different country with different culture and meeting all the sort of different people and having all the sort of different experiences that you can in that context, makes you more employable, makes you a more broad person, and when you've got those interesting stories to tell, and when you've got those skills that you can prove that you've got, then people are going to take you more seriously.